every day there's a police officer that's taking drug money, and the cops out there are cartel members. The cartel members are becoming cops. However, it's going down, mass corruption, and people don't give a fuck as long as we get a whole salsa dance, as long as we get our little Coronas, as long as we fucking wear sombreros, and we're fucking, having a donkey and a whole fucking celebration. It's all good in the hood, right? Wrong. You're fucking dead wrong. There's a whole heap of shit that's wrong in Mexico that people don't give 5 flying fucks about, but we over here fucking giving 5 fucks about a fire.
Mad Max was the turnout of my lifestyle. Smoking green, blowing white clouds to build the blue skies. Conversating with the gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the gods hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the gods hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the gods hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the gods hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Walk through the sands of times like Gara. On the other side of that gad is karma. He wet Prada, the devil like inside your box now. While the angels fly over my headstone.
We are back with another episode of the God's Hour podcast with your boy Big Serbs, back in the place to be, La Merca Superior, Palace 81. We in the building, live in effect, live and direct. Tell a friend, tell your girlfriend for me. It's Mr. 9 Times. Yeah, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, over the weekend, I totally forget what I do, but I wish I would have went shooting. We didn't though, because we had the people painting the house. We've had the people painting the house for like 2 fucking weeks now. It's getting on my nerves. Don't like it. I don't like strangers in my house. I don't like people around that I don't know. I don't. Just for safety precautions. And it's just like, bro, like, I don't know you. So what the fuck is you like over here for if you're not family, right? So while the people were painting, we didn't go shooting. So why go shooting when you could just go buy another gun? Yes. So my dad needed to dross the SIG P238 that he bought a month ago. We went over there to go dross it. And if you don't know what dross means, that's the period that the Department of Justice needs to review your paperwork or whoever you are when you buy a gun. So there's a waiting period in California. You need to wait 30 days before you can. I mean, you could purchase a firearm, but you need to wait. Okay, no. Yeah. So you could put a firearm on layaway. Layaway, I think, is like 90 days. So you could pretty much have up to 3 firearms, center fire firearms, which is pretty much like any pistol, like most pistol, revolvers, shotguns, rifles. Because when the firing pin strikes the bullet, it hits it in the center. So dead center, I don't know why you gotta wait every 30 days versus if it's rimfire, like I think some shotguns are rimfire, 22 caliber, all those are rimfire. Like it hits anywhere on the rim of the case and it fires, right? So we want to go dross the SIG, and we look at some of the 22 caliber rifles. My dad wanted a 22, and I was thinking we were going to get maybe a M&P 22 somewhere down the line, which I think they did have. And they look like regular ARs. They don't look like pussy little pea shooters like some 22s, like a Ruger 22 or some bolt actions. Like they're rifles, yeah, but they don't look like menacing and scary. Like they're just like guns or whatever, right? Like old school cowboy, Red Dead Redemption 2 type shit. But with this, Heckler and Koch that the dude showed at the shop. He showed us at the shop. He was like, "Yo, we got some of these over here. This is actually the last one." And my dad, anytime you tell my dad, we only get one every New Year's or whatever it is, or this is our last one, my dad's like pretty much gonna take it. I don't know if that's like a thing with him, but that's like the record, right? So I just looking at the M&P and the HK, I was looking at both of them and I'm like, the HK just looks way better. Like the design, just something about the HK 416 just look way better. So as soon as the guy grabbed, like we didn't even hold, I think we didn't even hold it. It was like, my dad was like, yeah, pack that one up too. We're going to get that one. And I was like, fuck, like my dad is bought within not even 6 months. My dad is bought, I don't know how many guns now, like 8. Is that, no, 9 now, because while we're there at the shop, he's like, why don't you show my son the rifle I bought? And I'm like, what? He's like, I didn't tell you I bought that Daniel defense. And I'm like, Pops, no, you didn't. You didn't tell me that. It's same thing with the Beretta. Because whenever my Pops, because he told me before, like, oh, I went to Ammo Brothers for this. You're not going to go to Ammo Brothers for no fucking milk and cookies. Like, you're going to buy a gun. You're going to buy a gun, like, Pop. That's what you're going to do. You're not going to waste your time going over to the gun store and not buy nothing that doesn't shoot bullets. And the Daniel defense, the DDM 4v7 was pretty much what they recommended my dad with for an AR, because there was, what I wanted was the M&P 5.56 or the Ruger 5.56, but with those you have to release the magazine and be California compliant. Oh no, with the M&P they had like the shark fin on the grip, on the handle. Horrible. I mean, literally the worst design of all time for an AR. And then with another one they showed me, I don't think they showed me a Ruger, but it was like you had to break the rifle apart, and that's pretty much what you have to do with all California compliant ARs. You have to break open the actual rifle and to get the mag out, and then put it back together and then rack it. So while they were showing me the Daniel defense, I'm like, I've never held a rifle that's California compliant like that. So I'm like fucking with it. I'm looking at it, and when it breaks open on me, I'm not thinking all the weight is on the front end. So I'm holding it like this. So when I break it open, like the fucking shit like swings forward, and I almost like dropped the rifle, and I was like, oh shit. Like there's a certain way you gotta hold it, and I hate that design. They got like these Juggernaut mag catchers or some shit. I forgot what you call them shits, but it pretty much just opens it like 1/8 of an inch. So you just take the magazine in and out, click it back, and you rocking and rolling. And I racked the bolt back, and I forgot how you do that shit. Oh, from the back, you just rack, you just pull, you rack the slide, so it's open, and the button, I like have the rifle to my ear, and I'm looking at the release, and when I release the slide, it slams right by my ear, so I literally hear my ear go out. Like I really couldn't hear shit out of my right ear. Even now, like I still feel like I could hear, but it's like, I don't know how to describe the feeling. Like my ear feels like just a tiny bit dull. Like if I'm not 100%, like 99 or some shit like that. And I couldn't hear, and I was like, please God, just bring my hearing back. Like I don't want to be fucking earless like Vincent Van Gogh out of one ear. And my hearing came back to me like after like a minute or two. But that shit scared the shit out of me, because it's like, that's something you don't really, like that's something you take for granted, like your hearing, your eyes, your fingers and all that, until they get fucked up. Then you're like, wow, you don't appreciate what you have and shit. Nobody appreciates fully what they have until it's gone. So that was Saturday. We got a new HK 416 22. It looks beautiful. It's a beautiful rifle. I just don't like that it's 22. I don't prefer 22s. in my opinion, if you're gonna go with a 22, you gotta be like 16 or younger type shit. Really, they're like varmint rifles. They're to shoot bunnies and squirrels or whatever have you. They're not for home defense. 22. If you were to tell me I got a 22, should I use it for home defense? I tell you no. Why would you do that, bro? Like if like people, the most popular home defense type deal people go for is the shotgun. And before like I got really into firearms, it didn't make no sense to me. Like you're gonna shoot up the house, you might as well go for one pistol and you know do the training and just shoot them in the head, right? If you're gonna do that. But I mean, I understand it a lot more now. Like people don't know how to fucking aim. And it's like if you're gonna defend yourself and you don't know how to aim, you might as well go for the shotgun, because at least at that point you could just point in the general direction, let off with birdshot, and you're gonna hit him at least somewhere. You might not kill him, but you're probably gonna stop this fool from shooting you or doing any more harm than what originally was intended. So Sunday, it was Froakie Community Day for Pokemon Go. I was out there catching them motherfuckers. I caught a lot of them shinies, and it was a good day overall. The weekend was cool, and looking at some of this Kodak Black doing a song with 6ix9ine, 612, Snitch 12, Snitch 5, whatever you want to call his stupid ass. This fool has been, Snitch 12 has been in the Spanish news for like a while now. Like, I don't know if he ever, it seems like it was all part of the plan. Like looking back, like when he snitched on all the Bloods and he was going to go the Spanish route. Like when he did, I think he did like a Spanish song with, I don't know if it was J Balvin or Nicki Minaj, but he was going towards like the Spanish market, the Latino market a while ago. And to see him on like doing songs with these other, what is it, like norteño, or no, not norteño, but like corrido type shit style, for him to do that is kind of like, it's offensive to me, because it's like those corrido, you know, singers and shit are really connected with the cartels. And this fool 6ix9ine better be careful, because let me tell you something. He could snitch on a bunch of Bloods in New York and get away with it. He even thinks about snitching on a cartel member. He's going to be decapitated with all his limbs fucking hanging somewhere. Like, it's like he's going to get his whole family killed doing, if he ever tries to do some shit like that. So you could tell like he pulled back a lot from the bullshit antics he was doing in America, and with like the whole Latino market. You could tell it's just there's certain things he's not going to touch. And I don't know if he has FBI protection or whatever it is, security. But it doesn't take a fucking genius to tell you that maybe going against the cartel in any way isn't a smart idea at all. You can look at famous corrido singers that allegedly were involved with the cartel, and you see what happened with them. We've spoken on this before in the podcast. I don't have to go into detail, but it's pretty much like, even if you're with them and you're like affiliated with them in any way, or you take any of their money, or you shout them out in your records and all that, that's probably not the greatest idea. So with Snitch 12 doing this song with Kodak Black, and Kodak Black even dissing him on the song, and he's like, you know, this is just for clout, I got a rat to give me cheese, or whatever. I mean, that's cool. I get where people are coming from, where like this is the music business and it's not the streets. I understand that, but me personally, I wouldn't do that, just because I have morals and integrity. Like, it's not about the money, it's not about the clout. I don't want my name, because once you put that on your jacket, it's forever. Like, oh, remember that time Kodak did that song with that fucking snitch that put hits out on people and then ended up snitching on the gang that he himself by choice got himself affiliated with. Like, that's some bullshit. And I don't care if you call it business, I don't care if you call it music. At the end of the day, you're working with somebody who doesn't give a fuck about you or anything else but money. That's what rats do. All they care about is cheese. Now, if you don't think that's a big deal and you don't come from the streets and all that, I understand. But being that some of the ways I was raised and just having integrity and a moral compass, it just doesn't fit right with my character and my whole get down. Like, I'm not condoning that. I don't co-sign that. I don't want people to be like, yo, Serbs fucking, and it's not even that I don't want people thinking that. It's just like, me personally, bro, I don't rock with people. Like, if you're a piece of shit, if you're a maniac, if you're just like a leva or something like that, I don't want no parts being around you. Like, you're a fucking snitch, bro. Like, that's not how we do things where we come from, you know. And maybe it's a cultural thing, maybe it's the way I was raised, I don't know, I don't give a fuck, but that's just how I feel. That's my opinion about it. If you're raised in Calabasas, if you're an industry plant, if you're fucking cut, if you're not cut from a certain cloth and you weren't brought up with those kind of ideals, yeah, you're gonna fucking do a song with a snitch. Yeah, you're gonna do a song with a pedophile, a maniac, a leva, whatever it is. I understand. I get that. But me personally, I'm not gonna do it. This Hawaii fire is gotten out of control. I understand all these people in Hawaii, they need help. People have died. And they started a GoFundMe, which I think is great. You know what I mean? If you need help, you need help. And if you don't got the feria, and obviously you're not with the big fire like that, I understand you're not going to have the money. And I'm praying for all the people out there in Hawaii. But I'm probably going to be a little selfish in saying this, but we starting a GoFundMe for Hawaii. Why don't we start a fucking GoFundMe for all the people who were kidnapped or murdered? Not only here, but like Mexico. I mean, that was my biggest point, was like, Mexico's like a 2-3 hour drive from here. And we not starting to go from, like, there's literally missing kids that got kidnapped by the cartels, just a whole bunch of corruption and bullshit like that. How come we don't make a change for that? But when there's a fucking fire, like, it's literally a natural disaster. You can't do shit about it. It's a fucking earthquake, a tornado. Yeah, like, okay, let's do a GoFundMe. That's cool. But like, what about the shit that like is really going on every day? That's actually some fuck shit. That's really like not cool. There's little kids getting kidnapped and decapitated, mutilated or whatever. There's people that they wake up to gunfire. There's people that look out the window and their cousins getting kidnapped, snatched up from a car. Or you just end up in a bar somewhere and you want to have a vacation and it just gets shot the fuck up by rival members of whoever they are, right? Let's start a GoFundMe for that shit, because I feel like there are important things out there. Don't get me wrong. Katrina, Sandy, you know, tsunamis, fucking tornadoes, hurricanes, typhoons, monsoons, fucking volcanoes, fires, thunder and lightning. I understand. We need a emergency support and financial aid to these countries and these people that are suffering. Don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody misconstruing this thinking, oh, this is where Serbs shits on the Hawaiians and fuck the fire. I'm not saying fuck the fire. Help the fire. Let's get these people some help. But when there's other things that are going on, like fucking Chinese people trying to escape their jobs, or and whoever else, the Ukrainians and the Russians out there, whatever it is that's going on, that I feel like we need to like have a better eye and attention to. Like when Marlon Brando won, I don't know if he won a Grammy or whatever, and then the Native American chick went up there and she spoke up for like all the Native American oppression, and people booed her at the time. It's kind of like, why don't we get more shit like that in the forefront, you know? Like, I'm not even going front. Like, I was looking at this Hawaii fire shit, and I was like, who gives a fuck about a fire, man? There's really like real shit going down. Like, just drive a few hours south and it's happening. Don't let a fucking border, don't let the name of another country confuse you. Like, we're the same fucking people. The raza, we're the same. One blood, bro. Like, we're from the earth. And we gonna give a fuck about some fire? I don't know, man. I really don't understand what the fuck's going on with people, but that was my whole shit on it. Again, I don't want people confusing this like I have any hatred towards fires, right? But I'm just saying, bro, every day there's a police officer that's taking drug money and the cops out there are cartel members. The cartel members are becoming cops. However, it's going down, mass corruption. And people don't give a fuck as long as we get a whole salsa dance, as long as we get our little Coronas, as long as we fucking wear sombreros. And we're fucking, having a donkey and a whole fucking celebration. It's all good in the hood, right? Wrong. You're fucking dead wrong. There's a whole heap of shit that's wrong in Mexico that people don't give 5 flying fucks about, but we over here fucking giving 5 fucks about a fire. That shit is unbelievable to me. That's where I get upset, right? So, I was gonna talk about some other shit. Who gives a fuck about some other shit? Okay, Lil Tay. Let's talk about this little bitch, Lil Tay. Not that little bitch, but these little bitches out here that's putting the puppet strings on the Lil Tay situation. So apparently, I put out a little tweet, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, Lil Tay, you know what I mean? Talking about, kids, how they need their parents and all that. I think on the last podcast or whatever podcast it was. But apparently she isn't dead. And this seems like a whole publicity stunt, doing like a little bit more digging and shit like that. It just seemed like they're like, whoever it is, the Guardians or the people that's running the Lil Tay page, they're literally like some money hungry bitches out here that's using death for clout. And at this point, you can't even really you can't even be surprised at some of the fuck shit people are doing for clout. Like, people are just doing dumb shit. Before, back in the day, people were getting knocked out, putting it on videos, fights, doing the jackass shit, putting themselves in shopping carts and sliding themselves off of roofs on a fucking bungee, on the trampolines that going into bonfires. But now it's just anything is up for grabs when it comes to clout. Like, people are thinking of like the next clout move to do to get some sort of infamy. And yes, not fame, infamy. When you're known in the world for some bullshit, infamous, notorious. And well, notorious is more like for banditos and shit. But like, people are really trying to do the most weirdo bullshit to be known. And I think it's horse shit. Literally, like caballo mierda out here, bro. The way I think about it is I'll never ever pull no bullshit like this with my kids. I think it's tasteless. I think these people need to come out with an apology. And that's the biggest problem. It's like these fucking cocksuckers have no remorse, no sense of morality. They're just like, oh, whatever pays the bills, whatever gets me out there flies. And it's like, no, that shit don't fly. My Kami quote, some people choose what they think over what's right, and that don't fly. It don't. It really don't, bro. Like, it really pisses me off. And it's like, I really want to wonder what this little girl is like, this Lil Tay, this chick. Like, well, how old is she? 14 now? Wait until like 10 years from now and you're like, wow, I feel like it's going to be one of those. What's the chick who did the iCarly book? She was in iCarly. She said, I'm glad my mom's dead or some shit. I feel like she's going to come out 10 years later with some shit like that. Like, yo, my mom was a bitch. My dad could fucking suck 9 dicks in hell or whatever it is. Because when you're a kid, you're just listening to mom and daddy. Yeah, you probably don't like the shit, but you fully don't realize the effect of what mom and dad do to you until you're older and you're like, wow, that was like lame as fuck for them to do. You know what I mean? Like, why did they have to put me through that? I don't know. To me, it's just like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. And now when I look at myself without no glasses, it kind of trips me out. It makes me feel weird. Like if I'm like, I don't know. I'm really like, I'm not blind without my glasses, but I just can't see far. Like, I can't see the little letters and shit like that on the TV or in class. When I was in high school or whatever, I couldn't see the board. So, you know, whatever, just to break off from that. The Euphoria actor, he killed himself. I don't know his name. You know, I should have done this pre-production, but Euphoria actor dead. Okay. Angus Cloud, rest in peace. He starred as the drug dealer Fresco Fez O'Neill on the HBO series Euphoria. He was 25. His no cause of death was given. A lot of people allege that it was suicide because his father had passed away. Apparently, how I feel about that is like, it's crazy because, and like, rest in peace, like peace and prayers and condolences to the families out there for all the affected loved ones of this young gentleman over here who was a great actor. I mean, I only seen like one scene, I think, where he's in like some sort of liquor store or some shit like that. Cool, you know what I mean? Definitely had the chops. He kind of looks like Mac Miller too. He had like some good acting chops, right? But it's crazy to me, like, I've had 3 friends who've killed themselves, and it's weird, like the way that death has affected me. It's like people are like, oh, rest in peace, like I'm so heartbroken, like, oh, how can I live and all this shit. And like, it really going through 3 of my best friends who've killed themselves, it makes me intolerant of other people's deaths, for sure. Like, I don't care, not to be a dick about it like that, but it's just like, you're grieving over somebody you don't know. And I understand that, like with the whole Mark Margulis thing, like I wasn't grieving over that. Like, it kind of sucks, Tony Bennett, it sucks, but you don't feel that. Like, you didn't go have lunch with fucking Tony. I didn't have lunch with Tony Bennett. I didn't go, I didn't go out and kick it with Tony Bennett. I don't know him. I don't know his mom. I don't know his sister. I don't know his dad. Like, there's just certain things that are unrelatable when it comes to a celebrity's death, even if it's something as tragic as suicide, right? And this is going to be a controversial ass episode. I already feel it with some of the shit I'm saying right now, but this is just how I feel. Like, bro, like, peace and blessings to that actor, but like, it like, I don't feel it the way other people are feeling it. They say ignorance is bliss and all that shit, but it's kind of like, I don't know, man, the shit that I've been through and what people, like, I used to hear that shit all the time, and you still hear it now. Like, people are like, oh, like, fucking, they get mad and they're like, oh, I'm gonna kill myself, or like, and all, they say dumb shit like that. It's like, no, you don't, bro. You don't want to kill yourself. You've never spent days with suicidal thoughts. You've never spent days depressed, thinking of a way out. Fucking, like, you've never, like, there's certain things people say that they fully have no fucking understanding of. Or like, when people say I'm starving, like, people say that to be funny, but you ask a homeless person fucking if they're starving, and that's because they really are. Like, they're malnourished and they haven't eaten for days, you know what I mean? Sometimes I'll say that, and like, you really shouldn't, because you really don't know what the fuck you're talking about, you know what I mean? But I don't want to end that on a whole like negative subject. Like, rest in peace to Angus Cloud. He's in a better place now. And I know that fight was suicide. Like, I know I've had suicidal thoughts. I don't know if I've ever said that publicly, but I have. I've literally dealt with depression, and I still deal with some depressive episodes and anxiety. Like, I still deal with this shit now. And I hope anybody who feels that they go and get help. Like, really, like, talk to somebody, anybody, like, whoever it is. Like, find them coping mechanisms, whether it's painting or you going out and having fun with your friends and shit like that. Because depression is a fucking battle that I wish nobody has like that. No, I hope nobody ever battles, but it's part of life. Like, you're going to go through ups and downs. And some people, they can't deal with it as well as others, and that's not because the individual is like they're soft or they're fucking like they can't take it. It's just some people they can only handle they can only handle so much before it gets to a breaking point, right? So once again, I want to say my peace, prayers, and condolences to Angus Cloud. You're in a much better place, bro. Let's remove some other dark shit and we'll just get that shit out of the way. So I've been playing Far Cry 6, amazing game, and I'm playing this one mission where you go on a treasure hunt and you start the thing in like some cave, and I see there's like Palo in the game, which freaked me out. Like, I've never seen any type of shit like that in a video game. Yeah, you see like skeletons and some sort of bullshit, demonic, ritualistic type shit in video games. But when you put something that's real, and I'm not saying demonic rituals are real, but I'm saying like when you put some real dark shit like Palo Mayombe or Palo Quimbisa, if that's how you say it. Like, for those who don't know, Palo, Las Reglas de Congo, the black magic that originated in the Congo and Africa, these motherfuckers, you want to talk about black magic? You want to talk about people who, like, do the dark arts and all that shit, that whole fallen Jedi type shit? This is the real shit that's like, it's literally from I don't want to say it's evil because I don't even want to put that energy out there. I don't even want to speak bad on none of that shit. But it's something I don't think people fully fucking understand. So what Palo Mayombe is, it's called Palo because they put the sticks in the pot. So how I know it's Palo is because there's a pot, a skull, there's some sort of like weeds or like hay or something that's sticking out of the skull, the skull's around, and the sticks, they're special. Like, I don't think it's bamboo, but there's special sticks that you put in the skull and like in the pot, and that's your calderon. And the skull is so basically the Palo, the people, they're basically grave robbers. They go and they dig up bodies and they make a pot, and the spirit that those bones and the skeleton, that spirit that whoever inhabited that body, you basically control that spirit. This sounds like a fucking movie or a joke or something. This is real shit. Like, this is something that I've kind of not studied, but like I've been known about for like a little bit now. And they put that in Far Cry 6. That shit tripped me out. Literally, when I seen that, I started getting anxiety a little bit. I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is real. Like, when they do the voodoo shit and in shows, and they do like bullshit voodoo rituals, you could tell that's not real. Because if you really know about voodoo and like Santeria and things of that nature, you know, okay, there's the cowrie shells, there's the all white clothes, there's the chicken, the sacrifice, the animal sacrifices. There's certain things that the shows will never show you because it's pretty gnarly, right? But the Palo is a whole nother level. There's like a famous what's that dude's name who played Count Dooku in Star Wars? I think his name's Christopher Lee or something like that, whatever his name is. He talked about, don't ever get into that because you will lose your mind and your soul. I don't know if I want to go that far and to say that, because I'm not going to judge nobody and say what someone else is going to go through. Like, how are you going to know like, did you really like how are you gonna lose your soul and your mind if you've never done it yourself? But I wouldn't even play with that type shit. It was just really interesting to me seeing Palo in Far Cry 6, and because Far Cry 6 is basically like a fictionalized Cuba, and with Cuba inhabits like all, because of like the Atlantic slave trade and all that, all the African religions pretty much didn't come through Cuba, but a lot of it is in Cuba, like Santeria, Palo. There's a whole bunch of African religions in Cuba. And playing the video game, there's a treasure hunt where basically you see like a whole bunch of Palo around like this cave, and you get the treasure, and there's like African statues. I thought that was really dope. I thought that was really commendable, like an Easter egg. Like if you're not paying attention, you think, oh, this is like part of the game, or like, oh, this is some shit they made up. No, bro, that's real. And I would encourage everybody to kind of do your information and not try to judge this shit as this devil worshiping and all that shit. It's definitely dark. It's definitely nothing I would fuck with, because when you fuck with spirits like that, and when you trap a spirit in a pot like it's a genie in a lamp, I don't know, man. You really got to know what you're doing with that shit. I'm not going to jump out the window and say they're satanic, they're devil worshippers, because they're not. You know, Satanism and Palo is kind of like two different things. I'm pretty sure there's people that walk both paths, but with me, what the fuck are the police out here doing, bro? What the fuck? They're over here going back and forth and shit. I don't like that shit. That shit's creeping me out, bro. See what happens when you talk about the dark shit? The cops come. I just thought that was really interesting. And speaking of Cuba, I saw this video on Twitter of Castro talking about how capitalism has fucked the environment, and how like we're poisoning the oceans and the rivers and all that. And I'm listening to the Castro. I'm like, yeah, this shit sounds good, right? Like socialism sounds like a great idea when you put it that way. Like Mother Earth, who doesn't love Mother Earth? But when you're sacrificing people, businesses, all for like the government, what socialism is it's like a fair market, right? Like everyone's equal to each other, but it's all at the cost of government intervention. There's only 5 countries out there that are communist: Russia, China, North Korea, Laos, Vietnam. If socialism was such a great idea, wouldn't there be more fucking communist countries? Think about how many countries are fucking around the world, right? Now, there's only 5 that are communist. Oh, did I miss Cuba? Okay, Laos? Is Vietnam still? No, wait. No, I don't think Vietnam is communist anymore. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think it's Russia, China, Cuba for sure, Laos, and North Korea. Those 5 I know for sure. There could be more other out there that I don't know, but those are like the 5 major ones, right? So why aren't other countries communist if it's such a great idea? Now, I understand what Fidel Castro was saying about how we're fucking polluting, communism pollutes shit, and I understand, but guess what? You ask anybody, America is where everyone comes from around the fucking world to live in. The American dream, as it's coined. You got fucking Europeans, you got Canadians, you got Mexicans, you got Africans, you got Middle Eastern people, you got everybody everywhere around the world. They come to America to live that American dream. Now, why is that? Is it because capitalism sucks and it pollutes the world? Or is it because people actually get a fair shot here? People actually can be whoever the fuck they want to be. If they want to be a rowboat master of the fucking 7 seas, they could do that. If they want to make little trinkets and own a knick-knack shop, they can do that. Guess what? When in a communist country, the government says, that's a great idea, Jimmy, but guess what? Gotta go. That's literally how the fuck the show goes over there in communist land. And I'm not trying to shit on communism. I visited China. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful place. But the views on capitalism, like especially these college idiots and these young kids that don't know what they're talking about. I have a homie, old homie, who was from who's from Vietnam. You know, his dad had a wealthy business in Vietnam. When Vietnam went communist, they took everything away from them. They were rich. They were eating good. The communists said, yeah, you don't need that shit. Let me get that shit from you. You don't need that. And the homie was literally homeless. They were eating a potato a day or whatever the fuck, a bowl of rice a day and a potato. Like shit like that, bro. And this is what goes back to the Hawaii fire, everything and all that shit. It's like there's real things that are going on that people don't give a fuck about. Right, but we're paying attention to all this other shit. That's cool, right? So with me, capitalism is just some fuck shit that they try to turn the whole shit around on us. Like, oh well, capitalism. They use all our foreign markets to da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, yeah, but that's because they're in that position where they have to. They have to work in these markets that are owned by America or whatever the fuck it is, because that's the choice you gave them. You didn't go out and say, yo, if you want to own this fucking bakery and make us bread for the government officials, let's do that. No, none of y'all say that, because all you fucking cocksuckers out there only care about the government and what's good for the FBI or whatever y'all the equivalent is over there. I'm not saying this is factual. I'm just saying that's kind of what it is. It's like, everyone there is a Fed that's living good. Why is that? Because the government is the one that controls everything. And if you're not with the government, it's fuck you and your mother. That's literally how communist works, in my opinion. So that's the last shit I wanted to get out of there. We'll talk about, I have a lot of topics here, but we'll talk about one more thing because we're running out of time. My grandpa's birthday is tomorrow, August the 16th. That's not his rifle, but I would like to think my grandpa's with me here with the rifle next to him, sitting next to Squirtle. Yes. My grandpa would have been 105. I think he passed away when he was 89. It was 07, right? I'm not going to do the math right now, but I think he was 89, right? My grandpa served in World War II. He was a great man. Moved to Ohio, moved to France. You already know the rundown with my grandpa. I love my grandpa to death, man. He couldn't talk. He lost all his teeth. He had a stroke. From what my dad told me, he wanted to off himself. He wanted to commit suicide because he wasn't like, from what my mom told me when he was younger, he was fit. He worked out all the time. He was good looking. He had all his teeth. He took care of himself. And then it was like, once he had his stroke, it kind of like everything flew out the window and he just kind of didn't want to live anymore. So with my grandpa, he couldn't talk to me. He only knew Spanish and he had no teeth. So I remember, like, I'll never forget, like, it's burned in my head, like the way he would talk with no teeth and shit. And I remember when I would go over to Mexico as a child and I would sleep. So my grandma has like a shitload of bedrooms. It's like her bedroom, my tia Mago, my grandpa's bed, the guest bedroom. Okay, so 4, right? All right, 4. All right, 4. Yeah, 4. 4. They're not 4, but 4 beds, basically like 3 bedrooms. And I remember it'd be my grandpa's bed and the bed I would stay in, and I would sleep there, and I would hear my grandpa wake up like at 3, 4 in the morning, like he had to go pee or some shit like that, and he'd be like Mago, which is like my tia, and he would need to go to the bathroom or whatever it is, like just yelling, you know what I mean? And like he couldn't yell loud and shit, and I still remember when they gave him the 21 gun salute in San Diego. I was there. And my grandpa had all his medals. He was all decked out. He had the hat, his military jacket or whatever the fuck it was. They give you, I don't know, his uniform, right? He had all his uniform on, all his medals. He looked fly. And my grandpa, he couldn't talk to me. So he would literally, like, I would hug him and he would just look at me like in my eyes. Like he knew he couldn't talk to me because I didn't know Spanish. Like he knew that. But he would look at me and like it was so crazy. Like I would just look in his eyes, like, and everything he could have told me, everything I needed to know was in his eyes, bro. Like, I can't even describe to you like what he told me just visually, but like I felt like it was like telepathically he would tell me like he loved me, and you know, he just tell me he loved me like through his eyes and shit like that. And it's getting me emotional right now, but like he's definitely a big figure. You know, like my grandpa's just like, he's cool, you know? Fuck. I miss him a lot, you know? I miss him a lot. Love you, Grandpa. I wish I was born earlier just so like I could have talked to him and got to know him a lot better. But tomorrow I'm gonna make him some ham and eggs, some coffee, get him a little cake or some shit like that. We could say happy birthday. You know, he was like somebody that I didn't even get like to know like his life. I didn't even get to know him, but like he's like, I like forever remember him. Like I feel like he's always with me. Yeah. My grandpa's the shit. I was gonna talk about a whole bunch of bullshit too today, but you know, like I really hate when people cry too, like on the internet and shit like that. But like this shit just came out of nowhere, so like, who gives a fuck? I want to talk about one more thing, because this ties in with my grandpa. One more fucking thing. So, my grandpa was born on August 16th. And for whatever reason, the Mexico records, they fucked up. And they put that he was born on the 13th, which is so weird, bro. Like, my dad was telling me, like, a lot of the records in Mexico are fucked up because people couldn't read or write. So, like, I don't know what it is, but like everything was handwritten. Like it's not like they type. It's not like now where they get the digital. Everything is on a computer. Like people fucked up dates, deaths, birth dates, and death dates and all that shit. So I think on his birth certificate, he said it was the 13th, but they always celebrated it on the 16th. And on the American records, his birthday's the 16th, probably because he said, yeah, like the 13th is some horse shit. Like I was born on the 16th. You know, that's my birthday and don't fuck it up, right? I would have said the same shit. But the significance of August 16th, other than my grandpa's birthday, is tomorrow is the 7th anniversary of Haitian Body Odor, the debut, or I think I want to say it's the debut album. Definitely one of the best albums from New Jersey's own Mock Hami, the God. Now, Mock Hami, if you didn't know, is one of the biggest inspirations for me. He spoke to me. We've had a conversation on Instagram, and I followed him when he had an Instagram. International Dope. I hope nobody gets that app at. They should like sanction that shit in case Mock comes back to Instagram. But that album changed my life. It did. Like, that's horse shit when people say, oh, it changed my life. Like, it did, though. Like, it really... The reason why I'm so prideful in being Mexican, the reason why I have so much interest in my roots, and the fact that I even have my own... I realize my own identity is because Mock put that in his albums about being Haitian, and he's fucking proud of being Haitian and where he comes from, and that it's literally his whole identity, lineage, his whole culture, and his people. He wears that shit on his sleeves, right? That shit put a battery in my back, because for many, many years, you were either a Chicano rapper or a diss rapper. I ain't never heard of no fucking Haitian rappers. Mock literally kicked the door down for Haitians, and I feel like all, minorities out there that people can identify with, his music is insane. Like, there's nobody out there. And yeah, maybe it's not the most positive and yada, yada, yada. He's not talking about social change or political this or that. Makami, with that album, fucking changed everything. It changed the way people price their albums. It changed the covers. It changed the way people rap. It changed everything forever. Haitian Body Odor. It's an 18-track album. And I'm not gonna come out here and say every song is a banger, but every song is like top-notch Mock material. I feel like the album after that came close to that kind of material Mock was putting out there, the kind of dance, the messages and all that, was Pray for Haiti. That was a great album, but I felt like the whole nostalgia and where I was at when HBO came out and it dropped. It doesn't compare. Like, it pales in comparison. Not that it lacks anything. It's just like Mock was on fire from August 2016 to like 2018. Like, he dropped so many albums, all of them fire. But HBO was like the crown jewel, like the flagship Makami album, Haitian Body Odor. For the longest time, some of my favorite songs were like Mock Marcy, Fresh Off the Fucking Boat, the Tazetta Air Max. The intro's not bad. I'd have to let me pull up the album. Let me pull up the album for y'all. I hate doing this too. You should all have this ready already. Well, you know what? Fuck you. What the hell? Makami HBO. Okay, 1080p. Yeah, that's probably my favorite song out of the whole. Yeah, how can you forget that? Basics, Hard, Midnight Express with Conway. Why did he take the features off? He used to have the features and the beats by. Come on now, Mock, why'd you do that? Okay, so we have HBO. How did HBO go again? I have been hard front for me. You and your fuckery. Like celery, Griselda got the buffalo wings. The fuck you telling me? Fuck you? Fire, dude. Bandana? This might be the craziest beat. Like, literally Bandana sounds like a fucking voodoo ritual. Like, the whole ambiance and the vibe of this shit. Bands on top of bands on top of bands. That shit. I remember, dude, I have a video of my niece singing the bands on top of bands. That shit is hard. Thank God. Trenches live large. Food Pyramid, it's literally 16 seconds, but it's like sick as fuck. Oh, great, SoundCloud. Thank you for all these fucking bullshit ads. This is where we cut it. Bloody Penthouse. There's literally like all these tracks are fucking fire. And wait a minute. It came out August 17th? Wait, Mike, wait. Why do I feel like it came out the 16th? Mike, what's going on? We got to do more digging. Makami HBO release date. Yeah, on Genius it's September 15th. It didn't come out in September. Maybe the re-release or one of the vinyl releases. It didn't come out that day though. We go on Discogs. What it say? 2016, okay. Been through that. What the fuck? I fucking hate ads, dude. Anytime I hear an ad, I want to fucking shoot somebody in the fucking face with a BB gun. Why'd I seen it was August 8th? August 16th. Where'd I seen that at? Okay, whatever. It was today. It was pretty much fucking today. Or tomorrow. Or the next day. Whatever it was. This is a solid fucking album. I give that album a solid 9 out of 10. Like, I've never... Like, in terms... I don't know if there's a better album than that. It's fucking dope. And it's funny because the SoundCloud picture of it, I don't think that's the original. Because it kind of looks digital versus if you had the original, it's the actual painting Mock made, and Mock actually painted the cover. I want to say it's fire. Okay, so maybe it did come out the 17th. Who gives a fuck? It came out like pretty much tomorrow. Let's just say, right? So shout out to Mock Kami, one of the best albums I've ever heard in my life. And artists need that. Artists need inspiration. They need artists to further themselves. If you want to entertain, you got to be entertained, you know? So I feel like with that album, it's just game changing. It was like a fucking a Nexus event. It was, I was in college when that album came out. I was literally like one of the first people, not one of the first people to hear it, but like, I was on it early before like anybody. I remember going to work and I was at the red light and I was bumping Mock Marcy at an absurd level. Like, just like blow your eardrums out. All the windows down. I wanted everybody in the neighborhood to hear this shit. Bumping Mock Marcy. Some white boy next to me in the truck rolls his window down. He's like, hey man, who's that right there? I'm like, this Makami, MACH-HOMMY, and I just drove off. Green light, gotta get the fuck out of here, right? Like, me and my homies, we was up on Mock early, and that's the God right there. This is not even, there's not even no more to say. I'm like, Mock is just, he's that dude, and a lot of my influences, I'm influenced a lot by me. Somebody telling me that I'm a knockoff Makami, it's not a bad idea, but you got the wrong impression. Like, I'm not trying to be Makami, I'm me, you know what I mean? And if we can help each other out, either musically or influentially, how is that bad? Like, you're just a fucking hater. Like, where does that come? Does that come from jealousy? Does that come from the fact that you want to be a rapper, but you can't rap because all you can do is fucking make beats? I don't know what it is. But that's horse shit. The message of the day is it ain't bad to influence other people. It's not, you're not hurting anybody by helping somebody else. That's what people get it fucked up. Like, people don't want to help nobody else. People don't want to reach out. People don't want to support one another because they think they're soft, or like, oh, I'm the only one who should be supported. I don't do the supporting. I'm the one that's supported. Like, fuck you and all that bullshit. Like, it's okay. It's actually cool to help other people. I do it. People help me. I help them. And it's cool. We build a community. You on a pedestal and being this lone wolf type shit, that lone wolf shit only carries you so far, dog. It really does. The whole me type bullshit, that song don't last but 2 seconds, right? So the message is very clear. Just, it don't hurt you by helping nobody. Like, people, when they see other people doing bad, like, that makes them feel better. Like, if they do better, my failure ain't your success, and your success ain't my failure. We can all help each other, and we can all learn from each other. So with that, this is the God's Hour.
Mash Max was the turnout of my lifestyle. Smoking green, blowing white clouds to build the blue skies. Conversating with the gods by my wildflower, to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower, to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower, to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower, to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Walk through the sands of times like Gara. On the other side of that gad is karma. He wet Prada, the devil like inside your box now.
While the angels fly over my headstone.